Welcome to another Throwback Thursday video. This time we're diving into Super Mario World. In this video, I'm going to show you where to find every single secret and hidden 1-up in the game. And I'm talking about hundreds of 1-ups. You'll never see the game over screen with this video. And make sure you stick around to the end, because after we go through every single level, I'm also going to show you a couple 1-up tricks that aren't level specific. You're looking for a red turtle shell you can use to pop that yellow block that'll reveal a 1-up. Just watch out for that guy. Come back to this level once you have a cape and look for the halfway point. Just after it, start flying in the sky and you'll find a small group of clouds that'll have our first moon on it, and that's worth 3 1-ups. In the Yellow Switch Palace, you can collect 100 coins with the P block. Put it on top of the pipe and then take the top path back to the beginning and then run back to the pipe to maximize your coinage for a 1-up. Everybody knows you can use this red turtle shell to pick up a quick 1-up here, but did you know you could follow that turtle shell to get 4 more 1-ups for a total of 5? You might want to shoot a fireball though so it doesn't bounce back into you. You can find a secret area down this purple pipe after the halfway mark. Down here you're going to find some flying question mark blocks. The third one has a 1-up for you. You can jump off Yoshi or throw one of these purple blocks to get it. There's a glitch we can do with Yoshi to get an extra 1-up, where you have his tongue pick up the 1-up and you run into it before the animation finishes and he gets 2 1-ups. And in this level, we come across our first bonus box. If you've picked up at least 30 coins and then hit it, it'll give you a 1-up instead of a coin. Use Yoshi in the beginning of this level to jump up onto this platform and run off to the right. That'll activate a 1-up, and if you hang out by this question mark, it'll fall out of the sky. When you get halfway through the level, you want to activate this P block to create a bridge. Then we're going to jump over the turtle shell to grab the star. Everything we touch with the star will slowly rack up points until eventually we're getting 1-ups every time we touch an enemy. So make sure you grab all the turtles, touch all these little spiny guys as you're jumping across, and you'll start getting 1-ups. Don't forget the fish at the end. If you jump on enough enemies in a row without touching the ground, eventually you'll start to collect 1-ups instead of points. And the same thing works on this chain link fence. You just want to make sure it's your feet touching the Koopa's heads, and make sure you don't touch the ground. Then you'll start to collect 1-ups instead of points. About halfway through the level, if you've unlocked the Yellow Switch Palace, you can jump up into this tube here, which is going to lead to a bonus area. Each row is full of 3 question marks, and if you hit them in the right order, you get a 1-up. But there's a secret to this. If you always hit the question mark on the left-hand side with your cape, it doesn't matter what order you hit them in, you're always going to get the 1-up. But it has to be with your cape, and it has to be on the left-hand side. Here you can score 5 1-ups. As you come out of that bonus room, jump into the pipe next to you to get to this area with a cape. Here you can practice your flying skills and pick up a ton of coins, enough for a couple 1-ups at least. Later in the level, you're going to come across this pit area where these 2 guys are playing sports ball with each other. That yellow block in the middle has a 1-up. To activate the 1-up, we're going to have to touch the 4 sides of the block in a specific order, starting at the top and going around. You don't have to be exact to make this trick work either. You can be a little sloppy and still get your 1-up. Grab your turtle shell and get ready to jump on that P block, but wait till the guy's back is turned below you so he doesn't catch the shell. Then he'll count as the first 200 points and you'll get 2 1-ups. Make sure you bring a cape to the ghost house, because in the beginning of the level you can fly up onto this ledge, and if you run all the way to the other side, there's 4 yellow blocks and each one of them has a 1-up for you. In the top secret area, there's 5 power-up blocks. The middle one has a Yoshi, and we used to use this trick for days when I was a kid. Grab a Yoshi, exit the level, and head back in, and now it's going to be a 1-up. Do this as often as you need. In the beginning of this level, you'll come across a purple pipe that you can swim up into to get to this cave-like area. Grab the P balloon and then head off to the left-hand side till you get to this question mark where there's a second P balloon. That'll give you enough gas to get up to the top middle, where in this right block you'll find a 1-up. But before you leave the cave area, knock one of these turtles out, grab their shell, and bring it back down the pipe into the water with you. And then kick that turtle shell down into this ravine. When you float down, you can jump off the turtle shell if you time it correctly. Nope, that was too early. That was perfect. You don't want to touch the ground when you're doing this, but each time you jump off the shell, if your timing's right, it'll count as 2 jumps and start racking up points. And when it's racked up enough points, it'll start giving you 1-ups instead. Speeding things up here, as long as you dodge the occasional fish, you can sit here for a minute and keep collecting 1-ups. I took Mario from 33 lives to 99 lives. The first dragon coin is by Rip Van Fish here before we go up the pipe. And there's 4 other dragon coins in that level, just like most levels. But there's 2 other dragon coins in this pipe, making for a total of 7. 1 in the upper left-hand corner and 1 in the upper right-hand corner. So when we go back down into the level, instead of collecting our second one, that's our 4th. And this third one is actually our 5th, so we get our 1-up right here. The other 2 coins, when we collect them, we're gonna get 1-ups for those also. This one here is a 1-up, and then when we get past the keyhole, there's another hidden 1-up above this place. See my lives go from 7 to 8? At the end of the level, there's a bunch of turtles here. You can jump on top of each one of them consecutively to get a 1-up, but there's a better way we can do this. Just a little further back from where we were, you might remember this yellow block that only had a coin in it. Well, that block was a coin because we didn't have a star activated. So let's back up to earlier in level where the vine is. Then we'll grab this star. When you have a star activated, as you hit enemies, you'll start racking up points until you get 1-ups. But more importantly than hitting the enemies, we want to make sure we run fast enough to make it to that coin block, so instead of a coin, it'll be a star. Then when we grab that star, our 1-up score will keep going. And now all these guys are going to be 1-ups, and when we get to that group of turtles, you'll get a lot more than one 1-up. Just past the halfway point, you'll have to ride this wooden conveyor belt that'll lead to this golden pipe. Head down the golden pipe to get to a bonus area. This is the one where you can hit the 3 blocks to get a 1-up if you hit them in the right order, but remember, you can always just hit them on the left side with your cape and it'll turn green no matter what order you hit them in. This is one of those levels you want to make sure to pick up all the coins, because when you get to the end, there's one of those green star blocks that'll give you a 1-up as long as you picked up enough coins. If you fly backwards from the halfway point, you'll get to this cloud landing strip, which has another one of those block puzzles. In order to unlock the 1-up inside, you're going to have to touch each side of the block in a specific order, starting with the bottom side and then making your way around counterclockwise. Alright Mario, don't mess this up. Bottom, and then the right, then we'll go on top, and finally the left. That'll make the mushroom pop out, grab our 1-up, nailed it. Later in the level, look for this spot with all the Goombas marching along, and if you're lucky, you can use the turtle shell to hit everybody and score a 1-up. In the later part of this level, you'll come across one of these rotating blocks. If you grab the star, there's enough time to touch enough enemies to grab enough points to start getting 1-ups instead of points, and if you're quick enough, you can snag 4 1-ups. Just past the spot where you get that rotating block, you can fly up into the air and come across a little cloud section that has a moon on it. These moons are worth 3 1-ups. In the beginning of Morton's Castle, turn around and fly up that first gap with a cape. Then make your way down the end of this hall to a pipe. And through that pipe is another one of these bonus rooms. To use your cape to hit the left side of the blocks to make the 1-ups appear. I don't know why Morton put this in a castle, but that's 5 more 1-ups you can grab. A little after halfway through the level, you'll find this section where you can make a vine appear. Go up to the top, which seems like a dead end, but in the middle of the room you'll find a hidden block with a 1-up. After that, run towards this wall where that enemy is, and a secret 1-up will appear, but only once per save file. In Vanilla Dome 1, we're looking for this area with all the yellow blocks, a couple turtle shells laying around, and Buzzy Beetles walking around. That's where we're going to find the next 1-up. But first, we're going to want to get rid of this Buzzy Beetle on the top shelf. Once he's gone, it's the block just to the right of the orange pipe that's going to give you a 1-up. When you get to this spot with the 3 question mark blocks, jump out of the water on the left-hand side and you'll reveal the secret block with a 1-up inside. In the Red Switch Palace, we can jump on this P block and use the crazy turtle here to take out the other turtles to score a 1-up. If you get to the end and you didn't get a 1-up, run back to the beginning. The first one will respawn and you can score your 1-up that way. In this section of the ghost house with all the different platforms, there's 4 invisible switches. The first one is on this platform here. The second invisible switch is going to be on the platform below you, here. If you hit all 4 switches in order, you'll get a 1-up. For switch number 3, we're going to skip these 2 platforms. Switch number 3 is on this one, and switch number 4 is on the bottom one here. So hit them in order, and when you do, you'll get your 1-up. In the beginning of this level, you'll see a flying question mark block. Hit it quick enough and you can build a little stepway like I did there to get that top flying question mark block. Or if you can't do it in time, follow it backwards a minute so you can hit it to get a 1-up. A little later in the level, you'll come across these 2 orange pipes. That block in the middle has a feather so you can get a cape and fly back up the way we came to look for a secret ledge. Take this ledge in and you'll find a moon. That's worth 3 1-ups. Head back to those orange pipes where you got the feather and this time fly up to the right instead of the left. Here you're going to find a green pipe leading to a bonus room. Just like the other bonus rooms in this game, you have 3 different options to choose from, but if you hit each block on the left hand side with a cape, it doesn't matter what order you pick them in, you'll always get the 1-up. So there's 5 1-ups you can pick up here. Later in the level, look for this spot with the power-up, because underneath you, there's a puzzle block. In order to solve these and get your 1-up, you'll have to activate 4 invisible switches in the proper order. First, you stand underneath it, then touch the right side, the top, and the left side to make the 1-up appear. If you really want to take advantage of scoring 1-ups in this level, you should beat the level, then go back into it, get to the halfway point, and start select to exit the level. Then you can always start at the halfway point, because just past it is this spiny pit. There's a P block here. We're going to grab the P block and start heading back towards the halfway mark. Head over next to the purple pipe, drop your P block and activate it. That'll turn all the enemies into silver coins. Collecting these in order will get more points and more points until you're getting 1-ups, 2-ups, and 3-ups. And because you left all those turtles back there, you're going to get a ton of 1-ups. I took Mario from 44 lives to 92. There's another one of these puzzle blocks at the end of the level. First swim underneath it, then on the right side, then on the top, and when you touch the left side, the 1-up will reveal itself. It's located right before the boss fight, and it's the same pattern as the last puzzle block. This level has an evil space wizard in it, turning the blocks into animals. Take care of the evil space wizard, and in that top row, the 11th block from the end is going to be a 1-up. Hit the 1-up and a block past it so the 1-up can drop down to you. Just past that area, you'll find a P block. You want to pick up this P block and use it here to get to that doorway surrounded by coins. This is the only way that you can make it to the halfway point in Lemmy's castle. Just past the halfway point, there'll be a block with another 1-up for you. When you get to the area with the red switch blocks, there's going to be 8 flying turtles. If you can jump on each one without touching the ground, that'll give you a 1-up. And if you can jump on some of them twice, you can get a couple more. When you get to this part where you have to make your way through the 4 yellow rows of the turn blocks, the second block from the left in the top row is hiding a 1-up. And when you reach the end of the level, you'll come across 8 more of those flying turtles, and if you jump on each one without touching the ground, you're going to score yourself a 1-up. But if you can manage to jump on a couple of them more than once, you'll get even more 1-ups. Just past the exit pipe, there's a green star block that'll give you a 1-up if you've collected 30 coins. And there's not a lot of coins in this level, so let me show you where some are hidden. In the yellow turnstile blocks, third block from the right in the second row has multiple coins. Same thing with the third block from the left in the third row. One of the best ways to get 1-ups in this game is with the cape, because every time you jump on 8 enemies in a row without touching the ground, you're going to score yourself a 1-up. Same thing with the 9th enemy, 10th enemy, and every enemy after that. So look for little areas in the game like this, where I have multiple enemies that are confined to tight spaces near each other. Because as I scroll back and forth jumping on them, the ones that are off the screen will start to respawn. And if you have good balance with a cape and can stay up in the air long enough, you can get 1-ups all over this game anytime you find an area like this. Now let's head to Butter Bridge 2 and try the same thing. Another great way to score 1-ups with your cape is keeping an eye out for areas like this, where enemies are just constantly spawning. Then as long as you're good enough to glide and not touch the ground, you can score as many 1-ups as you want in these areas, or at least until you touch the ground. Just like most levels in Super Mario World, this one has 5 dragon coins in it, and if you collect all 5, you'll score yourself a 1-up. But it also has a bonus stage with more dragon coins, so first we're going to collect 4 dragon coins in the regular part of the level, then come back to this block with Yoshi and use it to get to the bonus part of the level. Now up here they've already got more dragon coins, so the first one we get is going to count as our 5th, giving us our first 1-up, but then that one will score us a 1-up, and this other one's going to get us a 1-up too. In fact, every dragon coin we collect in this level past the 5th one is going to be another 1-up. If you take the bonus area, you're not going to make it to this flagpole, but if you bring Yoshi to the flagpole, you can sacrifice him to get underneath the flagpole to the island behind it, which has a moon. That counts as 3 1-ups. Just past the halfway point, you'll come to this spot where you'll find 4 yellow turn blocks. Second block from the right is going to have a vine on it. Climb up the vine and then jump off to the left-hand side to make it to a new platform with a yellow block that's got a 1-up. Just past there, you'll find a purple pipe. Here you're going to need to swim backwards past the pufferfish to make it to an orange pipe. This orange pipe will lead you up to a new area where there's 4 invisible switches on the cloud, but just run forward and you'll activate all 4 and this 1-up will appear for you. Make sure you grab the Yoshi in this level and keep an eye out for pink fruit, because once you eat 2 pieces of this pink fruit, Yoshi's gonna let out a little fart cloud, and this fart cloud is gonna magically fly around and fart out little other coins that have smiley faces on them. If you can manage to collect all of the coins, you'll be rewarded with the cloud farting out a 1-up for you. While Ludwig's castle does seem difficult, he's not the smartest, because there's a tile here you can jump through, and if you go up the stairs, that leads to a pipe. Take that pipe to get to one of these bonus rooms, and if you hit each block on the left-hand side with your cape, it doesn't matter what order you'll hit them in, you'll always get a 1-up. This castle also has a bunch of Koopas walking around a chain link fence area, and while you're on the chain link fence, that counts as not touching the ground. So make your way around and start stomping on each of these Koopas without touching the ground, and eventually you'll get a 1-up for each one you step on. 1-up. Oh, another 1-up here. Sometimes you wait for them to climb around the fence, but that's fine, that's still a 1-up. There's a lot of chain link fence in this castle, so make yourself comfortable as you go around and score a ton of 1-ups. You're going to want Yoshi in this level because there's pink fruit up in the trees. You can grab it with a cape if you fly with Yoshi, or you can use the springboard to get it. If you're going to use the springboard, make sure you pick it up with Yoshi and take it with you, because that second piece of pink fruit is also going to be out of his reach. Once you get the second piece of pink fruit, Yoshi's going to fart out a little cloud, and that cloud's going to start farting out little smiley faces. Each one of those smiley faces is worth a coin, but more importantly, if you can collect all 10, you'll get a 1-up. The yellow block by these music blocks has a 1-up in it, and you'll have to hit one of the music blocks to get the 1-up to jump over so you can pick it up. After the halfway point, you're going to find this changing block and you can get a star in it. Take the star, but don't run too fast because you want to make sure you hit all these enemies as they touch the ground. Now each enemy after that's going to be a 1-up, or a 2-up for these caterpillar guys. And you can get multiple 1-ups with the star if you're fast enough, all the way to the end of the level. Let's talk a little more about these caterpillar guys you find, because there's an area where there's 3 caterpillars hiding behind a bunch of trees. You can bounce off the screen and then bounce back to make them respawn, and each time you jump on them you're going to get more points until you get a 1-up, but then you're going to get a 2-up for landing on a caterpillar, then you're going to get a 3-up, then you're going to get this weird glitch thing that gives you multiple coins or multiple 1-ups or a bunch of points to your score, but these caterpillars can get you a lot of lives, so keep an eye out for them. And in that changing block where we got the star, you could instead get a feather, because just ahead in this area you can use the feather to glide from enemy to enemy, and they keep respawning, plus there's turtles and caterpillars to jump on so you don't have to touch the ground. Do this long enough in this area and you can get a ton of 1-ups. We stayed here for a couple minutes and took Mario all the way up to 76 lives. And just after that area is this question mark with a pea balloon that you're supposed to use to get to the secret exit. But you could instead take it back up to this area where that turtle shell was, get him bouncing back and forth, and then just hover there with your butt, keep touching him as he comes by, and you'll start building up points until you're getting a 1-up every time you touch him with your butt. Halfway through the level, you can pick a lower path to take, and if you do, you'll get to this area. Now there's 4 invisible question blocks here. The third one in has a 1-up, and if you don't leave 2 spaces for the 1-up to fall through, you're not going to be able to get it. So make sure you don't hit the other blocks first, and block off the 1-up. At the end of the level, there's a bunch of these fish that follow you. If you can manage to get 6 of these fish to the end of the level and then pass it, you're going to get even more lives. There's a 1-up, a 3-up, and a weird little glitch thing that gives us some coins and some points. In this room, we're going to find 2 P blocks, a purple one that turns all the coins to bricks and vice versa, so first we'll collect all the coins in the bottom row, then pop it to make all the enemies drop. That second P block, when we pop that, it turns all the enemies into silver coins. Collect them all and run back, and you have the possibility to get a 1-up followed by a 2-up from the other coin. When you get to the part in the level where you have to use the springboard to get over the giant purple pipe, the next pipe will take you to a bonus room. In this bonus room, you want to make sure you hit all the blocks on the left-hand side with your cape, getting 5 1-ups here. You'll also want to have Yoshi for this level because there's 3 pieces of pink fruit, and grabbing 2 of them is going to release a cloud that drops coins for you and eventually will drop a 1-up. The second piece of fruit is here, but it's not the best place to get your second piece because this is a hard area to catch coins in. So wait until you get a little further to this spot, and this is where we'll pick up our second pink fruit, because this area doesn't have big gaps in the floor and is much easier to catch all the coins that the cloud is dropping. Remember, you have to catch all of these smiley face coins, and if you do, it'll fart out a 1-up for you. In the spot here where we picked up that third pink fruit, there's also a hidden 1-up with 4 invisible switches that you have to hit. You do have to hit the switches in order, but you can touch other blocks in between that order. This is the third one here, and once you get to the fourth one, boom, the 1-up pops out. Halfway through this place, if you're small Mario, you can make it underneath this area to the yellow turn block that's hiding a 1-up for you. Take the P block above you to the end of the room, get rid of some coins and pop it to find yourself a secret door. This will lead you back to the beginning area, but this time you're going to be on top. You can fly or jump your way across, but skip the first door and keep heading until you get to a dragon coin. Keep going further and you'll find a second door. This door will lead you to a secret exit out of the ghost house where you can pick up a moon, which is worth 3 1-ups. Keep an eye out for this spot in the level where there's a purple pipe and there's this little ledge with a bump. We're going to need a turtle shell to make this trick work. Luckily there's a red turtle shell if you back up a little bit. Kick the turtle shell into the pipe and grab the 1-up from the Lakitu, and they'll both start spitting spinies out into the little pit area. All you have to do is dodge the spinies, sit back and relax, and this turtle shell will start racking up points until it starts getting you 1-ups. We stayed here for about 2 minutes and took Mario from 6 lives all the way up to 72. In this auto-scrolling level, as long as you knocked out the blue switch palace, you can get this 1-up halfway through. And make sure you get both of the platforms activated in the beginning, because if you can take them across the goal line, they'll turn into coins with those 1-ups, and you'll have enough items to get yourself a 1-up and a 3-up for 4 1-ups at the end of the level. But now you're wondering how to get those 3 1-ups. From the beginning of the level, you'll need to fly all the way past the goalpost, and if you're up high enough, it won't activate. Then you can glide back down to where the 3 1-ups are and pick them up that way. Before you get to the boss room in the fortress, you can go past it and fly across a lava pit that's got a bunch of fireballs spitting out. You're going to want to do this because there's 9 yellow blocks on the other side, and each one of these blocks has a 1-up, so you can score 9 1-ups before you head to the boss room. When you find this P block on the bridge, pick it up and take it over the bridge, past the Bowsers that are spitting fireball. Then drop it on the ground and activate it, and when the 1-up drops, it'll come right to you. Early in the level, you'll come across this yellow pipe that works like a cannon shooting you out of the green pipe. If you go through there, it's going to add 3 things to the level. The first thing, this halfway point. If you don't go through the cannon, no halfway point. The second thing it changes is in this area with the little bowl and the flying question mark block. Fly up in the air and there'll be a moon on a little group of clouds, but again, only if you went through the cannon. If you don't have a cape, you could use Yoshi by hitting that flying question mark and then jumping in the air and flying off of Yoshi to reach that 3-up. The last thing it changes is if you went through the cannon, this block here will be a yellow one. Otherwise, it would be a green block. Just past the block, you can head down the second purple pipe to get to a new area. Down here, you'll find a yellow block. Inside that block is another 1-up. Past the exit, in the very back of the ghost house, you'll find a yellow block with a 1-up. While this level has multiple paths, if you find yourself in this area with all the red flying turtles and you have a cape, you could fly around and jump on all of them without touching the ground and score yourself a couple 1-ups that way. And if you find yourself in this section, you can treat these guys just like we did with those turtles to score yourself another 1-up. If you picked up all the dragon coins, the exit area will be this one, and there's 2 P-switches here. Now I know how to turn these P-switches into 1-ups by using the goal. It has to do with your inventory and how upgraded Mario is. We're using a little glitch to pick up both P-switches, and you can see when I cross the finish line, we go from 94 lives to 96 lives. Past the halfway point, we'll come to this room with the Buzzy Beetles, hit one of those shells and then follow it down the hills, and as it takes out the other Buzzy Beetles, you can score yourself a 1-up. Right before you get to the first goalpost exit, you'll come to a green star block that'll have a 1-up if you've collected 30 coins. This level can be hard to get 30 coins in, so keep an eye out for this purple pipe. Up here, you'll definitely find 30 coins, so when you make it to the green star block, you'll get a 1-up. If you can get a flying Yoshi or a cape, you could just fly right past the first goalpost exit, underneath it to be exact, and you'll get to a second goalpost exit that has 3 yellow blocks. Each one of these blocks has a 1-up inside before you take the second exit. While jumping across the floating platforms, keep an eye out for this area. As long as you've gotten the red and the yellow switch palace, you can see a couple 1-ups for you to get. And if you've already done the blue switch palace, you don't even need to take these platforms, you can just run straight over to the 1-ups. Also keep an eye out for this area with these yellow turn blocks. The third one down has a P switch, and we can use that to get past the other blocks and down this pipe. In here you'll find another P switch. We want to activate that P switch and quickly fly down through all the coins all the way over on the left hand side. We're also going to need a cape for this. When the coins turn back into blocks, we can use our cape to easily fly up to each level and collect all our prizes. The first level up has 3 1-ups for you. There's another level with 5 1-ups. There's also flowers, capes, stars, and a total of 9 1-ups in this area to pick up. Early in the level, you'll find a purple P block. You can take that P block and activate it by the next yellow pipe, and then go down there to get to a little bonus area. Here you have to hit the question marks in the correct order to make a 1-up appear. Or you can just make sure you always hit the question marks on the left-hand side with your cape. And just past that area, keep an eye out for this little area with the spiny and the yellow blocks. That block on the left of the spiny has a 1-up in it. There's 7 dragon coins in this level. The first one's above the yellow pipe we went down, but it's a little off screen. The second one we need that P block for in order to get to. Next, you want to keep an eye out for this yellow pipe, because that's going to take us to a different area where the extra 2 dragon coins are. There's one before all the water, and hop across it all to pick up a 4th dragon coin. When you get out of the pipe, head back towards the beginning of the level to find another dragon coin. That'll be our first 1-up. Just past the halfway point on the second green pipe is another dragon coin for a second 1-up. And at the end of the level, you'll find this charging Chuck guarding 1 more dragon coin for a total of 3 1-ups. Another option with the P block is to leave it here, grab Yoshi, and head to the changing block. Have Yoshi eat a star out of there, and then run and activate the P block. Now every enemy you touch while you have a star is going to rack up points until you start to get a 1-up every time you touch an enemy. Doing it this way, I was able to collect 6 1-ups. In the beginning of this level, you can fly up in the air, and there's also a silver P block. And this one's going to turn all the enemies into silver coins. Collecting those coins can score you more 1-ups. You can use this with the other P block to free a bunch of enemies so there's more coins to collect. I've seen people do this trick at the beginning of the level and run forward, or I've seen it like this, where they take the P block further into the level, activate it, and then fly backwards to start collecting coins from the enemies. After you get your 1-up, you'll start to score a 2-up, and then every coin after that is a 3-up. But you can score a lot more 1-ups if you have a cape and a Yoshi. Grab that silver P block and put it by the other one. Then do a twirl move while you're on Yoshi to eliminate these 2 bricks by the question mark. Now you need to be small Mario, so find somewhere to get hit and come back to the P blocks. You can grab both P blocks at the same time if you put them close enough together and then run at them when you pick them up. Now that you're holding both P blocks, head up underneath the question mark as far to the right as you can, and then hold up and release the P blocks. Doing this causes the game to glitch, and those P blocks keep activating that question mark, which would normally be a Yoshi egg, but because we've got a Yoshi right here, it's going to give us 1-ups instead. Now you can just hang out underneath it for as long as you like, and it'll keep popping out 1-ups. This is the legendary 1-up fountain of Chocolate Island 5. In Wendy's Castle, you can find another puzzle block. It's at this spot here. First underneath, then on the left, then on top, then on the right. Activate all 4 sides in the right order and a 1-up will pop out. At the end of the crates in the beginning of the level, but before you get into the sunken ghost ship, you're going to turn around and swim up into this little corner, because here you'll be in perfect position to take out those bullet bills flying at you. And since we're not touching the ground, our score is going to keep going up until we gain a 1-up for each bullet bill. And if you feel comfortable with this, try drifting down in between and taking that other bullet out for double the 1-ups in this area. In the last section of this level, you get kicked out of this pipe and grab a star as you fall towards the ground. And if you can hit 9 enemies with this star before you touch the ground, you'll start to get a 1-up for each enemy that you touch. This will obviously be easier if you have a cape, but it's not necessary. And if your star runs out, don't worry, because halfway down there's a question mark block on the right hand side that's got another star in it. Activate that block before you touch the ground, grab the star, and your score will keep accumulating as if you never touched the ground. Now each spiny guy I touch before the star runs out is going to count as another 1-up. When you splash into the water, quickly swim down to the left-hand side to score a 1-up. Or instead, fall over onto the right-hand side where there's 2 1-ups. Once you get to the halfway point, make it past the Monty Moles and all the munchies, and then jump over this gap to pick up the last moon in the game worth 3 1-ups. Towards the end of the level, once you get to all the charging chucks, keep an eye out for this block on the bottom row. There's a vine inside, climb it all the way up to the top, and that'll take you to this pipe, which will take you to this bonus room. In these bonus rooms, you hit the question mark block on the left-hand side with a cape. Halfway through the ghost house, you'll come to this spot here, where you have to activate a P block, and when you do, run all the way to the right-hand side. When you get to this part with all the doors and the coins, keep running as fast as you can to the very end, and if you're quick enough, you can score a 1-up. As you make your way across the falling platforms in this level, keep an eye out for this spot here with the 2 yellow pipes. Heading down that bottom pipe will take you to another bonus room. Each one of these bonus rooms is an opportunity for you to gain 5 more lives. At the end of the level, they're going to start launching these giant bullet bills at you. Keep an eye out for the second one because you can use it to jump to the top platform, and that'll lead you straight to the 1-up at the end of the level. Keep an eye out in this level for a vine that you have to climb with a Yoshi egg up at the top. Just past that, you'll find these yellow bricks, and you can corkscrew jump all the way down the right-hand side to get to this little area. Jump against this brick and it'll reveal a 1-up, but you'll have to carefully jump across the lava pit in order to score your 1-up. We're going to take door number 2 in Bowser's Castle to score our first 1-up. Just like the castle in Yoshi's Island, this entire room is a chain link fence with a bunch of turtles crawling across it. 9 to be exact, and if you can hit all 9 on the head without jumping off and touching the ground, that final one will be a 1-up. Now let's check out door number 3 in Bowser's Castle where we can get another 1-up. This whole room is made up of screens that you walk behind, making it a little difficult to see, but it also is a great spot to hide a 1-up. Keep jumping up the rows all the way on the left-hand side, and in the top corner you'll score a 1-up. Now let's check out door number 4 in Bowser's Castle. For this one, you're going to need a cape. Run back and forth at the beginning until you can fly up over the first shelf area, and that'll lead you straight to a 1-up. There's 3 stars we're going to take advantage of to score a bunch of 1-ups. The first one is on the left-hand side. Take out all the turtles and then get the star on the right-hand side. Now you're going to corkscrew down a little right to the center and you can knock out all these other turtles, so now we're getting 1-ups with every enemy that we touch. Hurry and go down below and keep jumping and getting enemies, and you'll notice another star shows up. Now as long as we don't touch the ground before we grab that star, we'll keep getting 1-ups with every enemy that we touch. Those 2 accidentally hit with my cape, but we'll head back up and touch them with the star so we can still score some 1-ups. This time we're going to grab the star and not let Yoshi have it, and then swim around and start touching as many fish as we can as quickly as we can so we can start racking up points. Once you hit your 8th enemy, every enemy after that is going to count as a 1-up. If you do it quick enough, this whole group of fish here can all be 1-up for you. After Yoshi's full grown so that he doesn't eat any of the enemies, you can go ahead and pop that silver P block to turn all the enemies into silver coins. The Lakitu will throw silver coins until you get a 1-up, and then eventually a 2-up, and then he'll probably stop throwing coins after that. Make sure you bring a Yoshi to this level because there's a blue turtle we can eat through these ropes. Now Yoshi will have wings. Fly straight up and there's a yellow block. There's a 1-up inside we can get. After that, keep flying up but all the way over to the left-hand side. In the top corner, you'll find another 1-up hidden. Now we'll fly back down and over the top like you normally would, but when you drop down this side, be on the left side of those music notes and another 1-up will show up. Now you're probably wondering how we get into that warp pipe. Well, to do that, we're going to need a P block, and luckily there's one in this level, back on the left-hand side. Look for this area with the 2 yellow turn blocks. The one on the left-hand side has a P block in it. Have Yoshi grab it in his mouth, and then use the bouncing musical notes to make your way back up to the top of this level. Up here you can hold down and release the P block so it doesn't go too far, and then Yoshi can activate it up here. Now fly over to where that warp pipe is, and there'll be a new magical block that'll let you go through it. In this next area, there's 3 hidden 1-ups to the right. Just run over to the pipe to pick them up. If Mario crosses the finish line in his bloated pea balloon state, it counts as carrying an item across the goal, which will convert it into a power-up, in this case a mushroom. If you do this same thing while Mario has a flower or a cape activated with a cape in your inventory, instead you'll get a 1-up. You'll be able to score 2 1-ups in this level if you brought a Yoshi, because there's 6 dragon coins. The first one is just past the yellow pipe on this conveyor belt part, and at the end of the conveyor belt part you'll find a second dragon coin. Fly off and hit this question mark, put those wings on a Yoshi, and you'll head up to the bonus area. Up here there's 4 dragon coins to find, and when you get that 5th dragon coin, that's going to count as a 1-up, but since there's a 6th dragon coin, that'll count as a 1-up also. Halfway through the level, keep an eye out for this question mark block with a star in it. While the star is activated, every enemy we hit is going to start to rack up points until the 9th enemy when we get a 1-up. Every enemy we touch after that is going to be another 1-up. I would suggest bringing a flying Yoshi here to make it a little bit easier. There's a changing block in this level which we can grab a star from and use to get more 1-ups. Also keep an eye out for this pink fruit. If Yoshi eats 2 of them, something will happen. Run along with Yoshi while the star is activated and touch as many enemies as you can. If you run fast enough, you can hit these 3 caterpillars at the end for more 1-ups. Now let's back up and eat that second piece of pink fruit. When Yoshi eats 2 pieces of pink fruit, he farts out a little cloud, and that cloud will fart out 10 coins. If Mario collects all 10 coins, the cloud will fart up a 1-up for him also. So there we are in coin 5. For coin 6, I'm going to have to ditch Yoshi. You'll notice coin 7 there didn't activate for some reason. But there's coin 8, finally 9, then it'll launch 10, and it didn't give me the 1-up because for some reason it glitched and I missed the 7th coin. In the second half of this level, you'll see a yellow block in between 2 pipes. Wait till the water level rises and you can swim underneath to activate that block and grab a 1-up. At the end of the level, you'll get to this spot with all these removable purple blocks. Be careful you don't create a hole and fall through. Use the purple block to hit the question mark to score another 1-up. By now, you should have filled up your life counter to 99 several times over, but let's dive back in and talk about more 1-ups that we can get by using the goalposts at the end of each level. Anytime you're going to exit a level through one of these goalposts, you have an opportunity to score another 1-up. All you have to do is exit the level with the last 2 digits of the time match the first digit of how many stars you have, in this case 7s. Then we go from 97 lives to 98 lives. This time before I exit the level I have 25 stars, so I want the last 2 digits of the time to be 22. Then we'll take Mario from 20 lives to 21 lives. This trick works even if you don't have any stars, you just want the last 2 digits to be 0. Then Mario goes from 12 lives to 13. The goalpost will give you more stars depending on how high this bar is when you cross it. It goes from 1 through 30 as it travels up, and then jumps to 40 and 50 stars at the top. So if you cross it and got 40 stars, know you're only 1 frame away from 50. But if you can manage to cross that bar at the very top, you'll be awarded with 50 stars and 3 1-ups. Here I'm stealing Lakitu Cloud to make it a little easier. I crossed the goal when it's all the way at the top, and besides the 50 stars, you can see it also gave me 3 1-ups. And once you collect 100 stars, you'll get to play the bonus game. The bonus game will reward you 1-ups by matching that symbol in the middle with the rotating symbols around it. So keep pausing the game and you can see where those symbols are rotating. Now that I can see the star is about to line up on this lower left hand side, I know it's time to start jumping into the blocks now to turn them into stars. Do this until it goes all the way around, and if you're lucky, you'll get all the symbols the same, making 8 rows of 3 of a kind for a total of 8 1-ups. Another way you can score 1-ups on any level is by jumping on enemies' heads 8 times without touching the ground. You'll rack up more and more points, and that 8th one will be a 1-up. Here's a great example. Each of these dinos can take 2 hits. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th hit, boom, we got a 1-up because we didn't touch the ground. You can also use this same technique with a corkscrew jump like this. Jumping on enemies without touching the ground will become exponentially easier once you get a cape, because the cape allows you to slow down your scent, giving you more time to aim for enemies. So you want to keep an eye out for areas like this, the Red Switch Palace, where all these enemies are stuck, and I have enough room to go back and forth to make them respawn. Now I can just glide around and collect 1-ups as long as I don't touch the ground until time runs out or I get bored. Sometimes in this game, when you take an item across the finish line, that item will turn into a 1-up, but it's not guaranteed. It has to do with Mario's status and his inventory. The item you take across the goal line actually turns into the next power-up that Mario's gonna need. So in this example, we're Super Mario. We don't have fire and we don't have our cape, and there's nothing in our inventory. That's why the item is turning into a mushroom. In this example, we take an item across the finish line while Mario's already fully upgraded to Cape Mario. Plus, there's not a spot available in my inventory, but there is room for improvement. So the computer is going to drop us the next best upgrade for our inventory, turning this mushroom into a feather. The same thing will happen if you have a flower in your inventory instead of a mushroom. It'll upgrade you to a feather, considering that that's a better item. If Mario's inventory is empty and he crosses the finish line with an item while fully upgraded to Cape Mario, then the item will turn into a feather instead of a mushroom. The only way to get a 1-up with an item is to cross the goal while Mario is fully upgraded wearing a cape and has a feather in his inventory. Then you're going to get a 1-up. The exception are the early levels where Mario hasn't been introduced to a cape. Then crossing the level with Super Mario and a mushroom is considered fully upgraded and will get you a 1-up. And that, my friends, is how we find every single hidden and secret 1-up in Super Mario World. If there's any 1-ups you know of that I missed, make sure you leave it in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey.